Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here with the Real Estate Blitz. Good to see you. If you didn't see the post I put up yesterday, you absolutely have to go see it. It is fantastic. It was written by Deborah Rosen. She's actually down at the San Diego North County Chamber. And if you can hear that stuff in the background, our next door neighbors are apparently cutting out an entire solar system. So just kind of listen past that. But yeah, that article was the first article that I've seen, in my opinion, that talks to San Diego, or really the California issue, and just talked about truths. And to me, I think I brought it up in the past. I talk about obstructionism. Obstructionism. When people, a lot of people don't understand. They think the greedy developer, they're out here just, really messing us up and creating properties that we can't afford. The housing problem is because of those developers. That's not the problem in California right now. The developers want to build affordable housing, and I've actually gotten into some debates on this. I had a lady recently. Oh, I can't believe you're doing this. You're one of those people, and you're going to ruin this, and you're going to ruin all this stuff, and it's not going to be the same way for our children. And housing's too expensive. We should be doing affordable housing. I says, look, I'm with you. I agree. I am a believer of affordable housing. You can't provide affordable housing in the present market, and it's, I guess I keep coming back to who's responsible. Who's responsible to create affordable housing? And when I talk about affordable housing, I'm not talking about creating projects. Now let's talk about that. We could talk about the history. If you don't know the history of how projects were started and how they were implemented, it's unreal to me. It's absolutely unreal. So when you talk about projects, if that is what somebody considers affordable housing and having the government step in and actually create that, we've tried that before. Didn't work out well. Didn't work out well at all. So if that be the case, then what can we do to create affordable housing? And let me tell you, almost every investor that I know and every developer that I know, they wish they could create affordable housing in San Diego. They wish they could create affordable housing in California. They would make more money. They would actually sell more property, and they would be able to do a whole lot more inventory if they did that and they were able to sell affordable housing. So what's creating the problem with selling affordable housing? Honestly, obstructionism. And this is what Deborah wrote about, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Over 40% or more of the total cost is just dealing with permits and doing the dance, and it's not a good dance. It's a exhausting dance to actually get the permits and everything else that you need in order to even develop a house. By the time you've started building your house, the developers and investors, even spec builders, they can't afford to build an affordable home. It doesn't exist because they put so much money into it to begin with. So now we have very expensive homes, the ones that are being built. Now here's the problem. This is what a lot of people don't get. Oh, well, it's only going to bring down, if we build more housing, it's going to ruin the community. Is it? It's actually going to ruin the community if we don't build more housing. And a lot of people don't realize that. So again, going back to that debate I had with the lady, look, I'm with you. I want affordable housing. I am. The way you think affordable housing should be done is not the way that it can be done. Second, I'm with you. I want a better community. And if you look at some of our communities, they're degrading. They're going down into the pits, and there's a reason for that. There is no growth. There's no economic growth in those markets. It's getting harder and harder for people to actually live in those markets. So they're doing one of two things. They're either moving, which a lot of people are moving, like they're just leaving, or they're actually having to commute hours in order to get to where they can afford to purchase a home. I can afford to purchase a home 2 hours from here, so I'm going to drive 2 hours in order to come to work. And so is it the employee or the employer? So now is the employer supposed to actually say, you know what, I need to inflate how much I'm going to pay these people because it's the only way that I can keep a quality staff to actually continue working here. And that's kind of the kicker. When you talk about some of the programs and the availability, I would even say, this is without getting deep into gentrification, but here's one of the big ones for me. You're talking about the average person, first responders, your police officers, your firefighters, your emergency services. You have a heart attack, you need somebody to drive over there and actually pick you up. If you talk about first responders, if you start talking about school teachers, good hard-working Americans, average people that don't make a ton of money, and they can't afford to live here. So how are we supposed to keep the infrastructure in San Diego or throughout the metropolitan areas of California when they can't afford to live anywhere near where they are? So a lot of them are just leaving. The only way to fix it is actual building affordable housing. The only way to get affordable housing is to fix what's going on with the government and how they actually are just juicing people, and also streamlining the process. But Chris, and I've heard this one before, Chris, it'll ruin our environment. Look, and I don't want to throw this out there, but I don't know if you've been on the 15 or the 5 anytime recently from all the people that are fleeing work or going to work every day. You talk about killing the environment. To this day, I didn't grow up here. I moved here because of the military, because of the Marine Corps, and let me tell you something. It always blows my mind. Got 8 lanes, and nobody's going anywhere. You want to talk about that? Let's talk about the 90. Anybody driving down? Have you ever driven down the 90? I went 11 miles once. I went out to see a buddy of mine out in LA. 11 miles took me 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours to drive 11 miles. And you can hate me if you want, I got a gas guzzler. I got a big old Jeep. And that thing was just dropping dinosaur bones on the freeway. Look, there has to be a balance. If you want affordable housing, I think what hurts me the most is when I see people, so I physically live in Fallbrook, which is North San Diego County, right? When I see people, good people that work here, that work at, Albertsons or Major Market, they work at some of the small mom and pop shops that are right here in downtown, and they're getting to a point to where they're getting squeezed so much that they can't stay. They can't even rent a place anymore because rental prices, I've talked about this before, because of the price adjustments and people can't afford, it's driving rents up because the people that own those rental properties are investors, folks, and they're going to do what the market can bear in order to get a return. So you're driving out really good people because either A, not in my backyard, you're going to ruin my view. And we sell a lot of big land properties. We have 90 acres and somebody, well, that'll ruin my view. So you're telling me the person that owns the 90 acres that's to the side of your house, you don't want them to ever do anything with their land that they purchase, whether it's to sell it or develop it, because it'll ruin your view? Well, aren't you're a crappy person. I'm sorry. But of course you don't want your view, but you're ruining somebody else's view. You act like, look, until you move into a cave, you can't say anything. Until you decide that you're going to just leave no footprint at all and you're just going to live on the ocean on a couple planks of wood, I don't want to hear it. Because to me, that's just selfish. You're basically telling people it's good enough for you, but because you can't afford it, poor person. And this is the key. So you talk about, it always baffles me. Oh, well, I care. Do you? You care up until the point where it actually inconveniences you in some way because you had the ability to afford. That ain't right. My opinion. Now, maybe I'm a little bit liberal on this subject, but I am to a point. Anyways, I want you to go back. I want you to read Deborah's article. I posted it in Facebook, on my Facebook page, which is the Real Estate Blitz on Facebook. Go check that out. It is just money. It is absolute magic. I think she's fantastic. One of the best written articles yet. And I would even say, a lot of the lawmakers and people that are sitting down, mostly real estate brokerages and agents and the local law, are sitting down talking about how to fix it, when the reality is they're leaving out the people that actually matter, the people that are actually going to fix it, which are going to be the developers. They need to sit down and streamline the process to actually get us where we need to go, because we are in a bad place, folks. We're in a very bad place. The repercussions for not actually addressing this issue in San Diego and California wide could be devastating. So that's my thing for the day. Go check out the article. As always, like, share, comment. Please make sure you put up different things. I know I got a little bit further off topic than I wanted to today, but I saw this article. I had to post it up. I think, as far as what we're trying to make with the Blitz is stuff that's coming up and stuff that's important right now and prevalent. I want to be able to post it up, put out information, put out content that you aren't seeing somewhere else, and actually talk about it with my expertise for what I do. So again, I'm KSA Kris. Appreciate your Real Estate Blitz, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.